Okay, in this segment, we want to touch upon the horrific tragedy that happened at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, where 11 people were killed on a day of worship by a horrendous individual. This is the headline in today's New York Post, which succinctly sums it up: Face of Hate. Anti-Semite slays 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue, screaming out as he shot innocent people, "All Jews must die." Just a terrific, horrific, horrible tragedy. And I just want to say, I want to praise the police officers and SWAT teams that were on the scene so quickly and confronted this horrific individual right away and risked their own life to make sure it wasn't, to get him arrested and make sure that more people were not killed in this terrible tragedy. So I want to talk to a couple of our staff members and get their thoughts on this terrible tragedy which happened yesterday in Pittsburgh. Brandon Ellis, your thoughts?
I mean, speaking personally, as a Jew, I'm appalled. I know it's absolutely horrendous, but as a fellow human being, I think, as a humanitarian, this is absolutely despicable. It should be something that is discussed. I think a lot of people aren't safe if they're in a high school, if they're going to synagogue, if they're at a bar, if they're at a movie theater. There's so many instances of a crazy person or a person with serious mental issues with a weapon. And there needs to be a partisan conversation, a bipartisan conversation about all these issues, and we need to bring it together, not just for Jews, not just for a singular group, but for all of American kind, really. It's an important topic.
Thanks for sharing, Brandon. Mayor Minch, your thoughts on the terrible tragedy which took place Saturday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? And one thing I want to note is that this horrific tragedy could have touched you personally with a relative. Let's reflect upon that, how scary this was for you personally.
Yes, well, like I say, I'm also Jewish. I'm proud to be a Jew. My cousin is performing at Pittsburgh School of Music, and she was in the vicinity a couple nights before in this area, and that's probably as well the night before. I gotta say that, like, touch about what Brandon says, it's not safe anywhere. I mean, look what happened this week with the bombing, the bomb scares, now with this, especially if I'm Jewish. It touches me in so many ways that I'm appalled of what this guy did to us, to the Jewish community, and to say all Jews must die. I believe that everyone deserves to live, to love, and to show peace and harmony. I think that this guy, he's going to get the justice to the full extent of the law, and I also am, like, to touch base what he said, that we're not safe anywhere. He forgot to also mention we are not. Look at malls. Malls is anywhere anybody can go in and open a rampage. There was a shooting, and I was at Roosevelt Field Mall during the day. There was a shooting at Turno when someone shot a fellow associate of mine. It was a Macy's associate during the robbery at Turno. And to go through such an event like this, I mean, for 11 Jews to die, it's something that, like, it struck me to my core. I mean, to know that this is what America is about, and to know that this is what is going on in the best country in the world.
Well said. Yeah, there was an article today in the New York Post. It says, "In the face of hate," but it also says, "This cannot change us." And I just think that's so important to reiterate, that in the face of evil, in the face of these horrific, terrible tragedies that have happened from Las Vegas to Orlando to Pennsylvania now, Texas, so many places all around the country, that we all must be vigilant, and we all must continue to lead our lives and we can't live in fear. We just have to enjoy life every day, love our friends, love our family, and enjoy and be passionate about what we do in our daily lives. And when we see a tragedy like this, we mourn the victims and the senseless crimes. But it's so important to know that we must live our lives. We cannot live in fear, and we must live our lives to the fullest each and every day.
Yeah, and that's true. Like there's a saying: if you see something, please, guys. If you see something, say something. There's a lot of ways you can get help, especially, let's say we have a lot of viewers of us that live in New York City. There's a hotline, it's New York City Safe. And just remember that people are there, that we can help you, that there's places where you can go for help, like especially for the loved ones and the victims of the tragedy.
And one other thing I will mention is that a lot of characteristics of these sick, demented people is that they do go on social media before they go and commit these terrible crimes. So when you're on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram and you notice any type of post that is a little bit scary or raises your antennas, notify the police and the authorities immediately, because one phone call could save a lot of lives. So when you're going through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, keep your eyes out. And if you notice anything alarming, don't hesitate. Contact the authorities, the police right away, and can prevent some of these tragedies in the future. So I want to thank Brandon Ellis and Mayor Minch for their input. And again, we mourn all the victims in this horrific tragedy at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pennsylvania.